Hi, it's Liz Anelli again, and today I'm going to read for you Howzat, a wonderful story about cricket written by my lovely friend Mike Lefroy. It's the first picture book I illustrated when I came to Australia, and I still totally love it. So here's the story. In a little English village, there's a cricket match just beginning. Follow the bouncing ball and see where the game takes you. Whack! There's a sound in the blue summer sky. The sun's coming out as the ball soars high. Catch it, the fielders all shout. A dive and a grab. He's out? Yes, he's out. The bowler is fierce, she's tall and she's quick. A swing and a miss. Or was that a snick? Now Katie the batter, she comes through the gate and strides to the wicket to meet her fate. But a streaker appears and he runs to the pitch. That silly mid-on is not wearing a stitch. It's time for a change and it's time for some spin. The fielders move out as the bowler moves in. The googly bites and bamboozles the bat. The bails are knocked off. The cry is, "Howzat!" Now in comes the skipper, a big task ahead, with a game to be won and a team to be led. She's flashing and slashing, the crowd love her tricks. They cheer on their captain who's smashing a six. But time's running out and the sun's sinking low. Just two batters left, just an over to go. The final delivery, what will he try? It's into the sea, it's a six. It's a tie. And the last page has all the children from all the countries of the world playing a big game, celebrating after a big game. In which country? See if you can work it out. Another curious thing about this book is that Mike very cleverly in his text never tells you where the different sets of children are playing their backyard cricket. It's up to you to look really carefully at my illustrations and see what clues you can find, what the children are wearing, where are they, what's in the background that tells you which country they're all in. And I'll give you a hint, they're all countries that play top level cricket. And there's a map at the back as well. Today I'm going to be taking you through workshops and step-by-step how I made this lovely book, Howzat, with Mike Lefroy. Now this storybook is all about cricket, and in it you'll find spread after spread of children all around the world playing backyard cricket. How do I illustrate a book like this? Well, I've got to be pretty good at drawing, haven't I? So I do keep a sketchbook all the time, and I go out, I go to schools and I go to the park and I get my friends to bring their kids along and have a game of cricket. And I don't really take photographs so much because for me it's about catching that moment of action, all the different ways your body moves when you're throwing, catching, bowling, standing around bored, waiting for something to happen, all the stuff that goes on in cricket. So there's tons of different characters. There are a different set of children for every page. I'm going to have a go this afternoon drawing one of those children playing backyard cricket and showing you some of the techniques that I used to do the colouring in. There's so many different ways you can add colour to your pictures. You can just use textures and crayons, you can use paint, you can use collage. And I like to use quite a few of those things. In fact, most of my books, I use all of those different media. So you will want for this, you'll want some paper and a pencil for starters, and then will be a few more materials as we go along. Okay, so I had a little practice run and I drew some girls playing cricket. I drew the same character a few times so that I could experiment with different positions of her body. So you can see it's the same head. So I might have a go at doing something a bit like that again. I've got a nice big sheet of paper and I would normally use a pencil to do the drawing with, but you might not see it quite so clearly on the video. So today I'm going to use a nice big fat black felt pen. Now I'm going to start drawing her face, but I'm not actually going to draw her hair in as yet. I'm just going to draw. Now the important thing in cricket is what your hands are doing. So this one is, what do you think she is, bowler or batsman? Okay, she's got her hands, she's got two hands on something. She's got two hands on, oh, that's a bit wonky. Yeah, she's got two hands on her cricket bat. And here is the rest of her t-shirt. Now, what is she actually doing? She could be standing at the wicket, getting ready to hit, or she could be, one of the pages shows a batsman who's really running very, very fast between the wickets. And if you know anything about cricket, you'll know there's two batsmen, one at each end, and the other one has maybe run a bit too many times, and there's danger of being, what's the term, being run out. I think that leg's too long for that one. Now, so can you see why I left the hair till the last minute? Because when you run, your hair moves, doesn't it? And so to add to the illustration and get a feeling of movement, I'm going to have her hair flying out behind her. Now, as I said, there's lots and lots of different ways of adding colour, and sometimes I like to mix them up and put some of them together. So, for instance, I might want to use coloured pencils for some of the more fiddly bits. So maybe for her skin, her face, because that shape is quite irregular shape. And I'm going to use collage for some of the other bits of her body. Sometimes I use just one colour, but quite often, especially if you're playing outside, you'll get some shadow, won't you, on you where the sun is. There we go, there's a bit of shadow on the underside of her leg, so that's slightly darker brown. Now her hair is going to be pretty messy because she's running fast to get back to the stumps before one of the fielders throws a ball at the stumps and gets her out. So her hair might be flying all over there and pretty messy. But that again has some highlights on it. So when I'm doing highlights, I tend to use the darker colours first and then pick a lighter colour like a yellow just to add a few little bits on top there. And this is a good colour for the wood of the stumps as well, isn't it? Here we go. I'm going to use some collage. So you can get these books from the shops that have lots of different patterned paper in them, or you can use magazines, and I like to use a combination of them both. For me, the easiest way to get the right shape to stick into, say, her t-shirt is to actually get a piece of tracing paper and carefully trace the outline of the area that you want to be a piece of collage. Say this is her t-shirt. So you end up with a rather funny shape, but that is going to be her t-shirt. So what shall I use for her t-shirt? What about this? That's kind of nice, that fancy bit of patterned purple there. Now you can turn your tracing paper over, draw on the back, and then trace those lines down a bit. I'm sure you've all done this before at home and at school, but I actually prefer hold that in my hand, hold it still, and just cut the whole thing out together. And then I know that the piece of patterned purple stuff underneath is going to be the same shape as the drawing I made on the tracing paper. You will notice as I'm cutting around the edges here, I'm missing some of the fiddlier bits out. That's because I'm going to come back to those later. So this bit, that's her t-shirt. Oh, brilliant, I've got something done. Now, these glue sticks are great because they don't make too much mess, and I find it easiest to put the glue onto the paper I'm working on. So there we are. There is her t-shirt, and then I'm going to use my pen again to redraw those lines that I lost, because remember they were underneath the bit that I cut. So she's wearing a nice snazzy t-shirt now. Okay, now I've got to think about what her shorts could be made of. This is an easier shape, so I'm not going to worry too much about cutting my paper down first. So that's a pair of shorts. I should really have stuck the shorts down first because your t-shirt flaps over the top of the shorts, but the edge is up a little bit. So, well, she's coming along, isn't she? I can also use some paint. I've got some watercolour paint here and a little pot of water. I might want to give her, she's got blue shorts, so what about blue shoes? I could add some paint here. Obviously both shoes are the same colour. And now her bat is made of wood, so how about a little bit of wax resist for her bat? So you know when you get a wax crayon and you put it on lightly, and then I get some of the wood colour with my watercolour, and hopefully, can you see how it needs to be quite wet? It sticks to some bits of the paper and not to others, and that's a little bit of a wood grain effect. So there she is, she's running to the stumps, but we don't know whether she's going to be out or not because what haven't we got? We haven't got a ball. Okay, well, this is a nice red colour. Cricket balls are red, aren't they? Maybe I'll just cut it out. So here is a nice big red round ball. So she's running to the wicket as fast as she can. Is she going to get there first, or is the ball going to get there first? I don't know. Let's put some little speed marks for the ball, and also she's running pretty fast as well. So nearly done. Of course, like she's running through a white piece of paper at the moment, isn't she? We need to give her some grass. So again, I'm going to use my crayon, and I'm going to use it. Sometimes I'm going to press harder and sometimes not so hard. So where I press harder, there's a bit of darker green, so that could be the shadow. What do you think? What are you going to put in your picture? Are you going to have a packed, busy stadium with children and families and supporters from the home supporters and the far away supporters, or are they in a park just playing with their family or their school? So that just about wraps it up for this one. I've made my picture of my little girl, and she's the batsman. She's running to the wicket to try and get in so that she can score another few runs. That's the picture I made. I'd love to see what you make with your cricket picture, or you might want to do a different sport. You know, maybe cricket's not your thing, but you love baseball or netball. Oh, so many sports to make pictures for. So there you go. Howzat, written by Lefroy and illustrated by me, Liz Anelli.